God bless you, family. Thank God for another day. God bless you and thank God for another day. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes days, you can't control things. Some things can lead you off in a mindset of like, dang, why me? You know what I mean? But you gotta stay strong. You gotta be thankful. Regardless through whatever you face, whatever force you're going through, because every day ain't gonna be all peaches and cream and things like that. This is gonna be the things that sometimes you don't have control over, or you probably did have control over, you just didn't do the right things that you were supposed to do. Hold on, let me light this cigarette up. Right. All right, family. I'm a human. I go through ups and downs. You know what I'm saying? It ain't always gonna be up with me. It's just the rawness of life, right? It's always gonna be ups and downs. You know what I'm saying? So, but we gotta keep on going. We gotta keep on moving. It got to happen. You know what I'm saying? So, I just would like to give a quick moment of silence to the people who have fallen over breast and buttocks. So let's just go ahead and give these people a quick moment of silence. Because if you think about it, a lot of people have fallen to breasts and buttocks. Like the way the system is designed, people don't know really what they want in life. You know what I'm saying? Like people just get like a woman because they feel like that's the standards that a man's supposed to have a woman, right? You know what I'm saying? But they don't understand the thing that they get clouded with, that every man gets clouded with, once you go through puberty and your hormones start raging, and you know what I'm saying, instead of using that hormone energy to do something recreational, athletic, be a warrior or whatnot. Usually the media has shifted people's attention towards getting a nut. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me if that's vulgar, but you know, getting a release. You know what I mean? That's the main thing dudes try to go for is to get a nut. So they don't. It's like not really understanding what love is. You know what I'm saying? So they fall into the lust factor. Like a lot of people don't, which I feel victim for, don't know what love is. You know what I'm saying? And they love bomb people and use that love word so that they can get that nut. You know what I'm saying? So overall, it's about the breast and the buttocks. You know what I'm saying? Why you think marriages be short term, relationships be short term. You know what I'm saying? A lot of situations be short term because once a person gets that release, once they get that dopamine release, you know what I'm saying? They start snapping back to their senses. They like, dang, I could do all that stuff that a woman does. I don't really need no woman. And then you like, oh, the woman's starting to irritate me and things like that because y'all really wasn't compatible. It wasn't really a chemistry going on. You know what I'm saying? It was just something to get that off. You know what I mean? And a lot of people get with women because of like they don't want other people to have access to the woman. They might not have nothing in common with the woman. Only thing is they physically attracted to the woman. The woman has breasts and buttocks, and that's what they call cuffing. Cuffing is basically what a person just gets in a relationship with a chick just to prevent her from having access or prevent dudes from having access to her. You know what I'm saying? That's like self-centered, narcissistic. You know what I mean? A lot of people haven't really evaluated, the love factor or, you know what I'm saying? Why, in the Garden of Eden, well, God made Eve so that there could be Cain. If Eve didn't exist, there wouldn't be Cain and Abel, right? There wouldn't be no offspring, right? But you know what I'm saying? Other than reproducing, God also created Eve to be a helper. You know what I'm saying? A physical helper, a mental helper, and a spiritual helper. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that can help you and cope with it. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people, they have this independent mindset. A lot of people have this independent mindset where they feel like they don't really need a helper, but really people do need a helper. You know what I'm saying? You get isolated, you get elevated with God, or you doing your own thing and your isolation and stuff like that. Sooner down the line, you'll need a helper. But some people don't need a helper. All they really need is God. You know what I'm saying? Apostle Paul said that. You know what I'm saying? So, but for those, some people do need helpers. You know what I mean? And people are using that helper system just to get a nut. You know, a lot of people out here are like the Ice Age squirrel. You know how the Ice Age squirrel was going out his way to get that acorn. You know what I'm saying? The acorn in that crack in that ice. He'll pull it out. The acorn slips and fall down the waterfall. Trying to get that acorn down the waterfall. You know what I'm saying? The squirrel had an astronaut suit and everything. He went out of space for that acorn. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot with the dudes. Like, dudes are doing everything in their power, and it's not for the love. It's not to get that woman. It's just to get that release. Some people like, oh, I don't even need to go through all that to get a release. I could just watch an adult video or imagination in my mind and masturbate just to get that release. And that's the thing, that release, you know what I'm saying? It's not always good to get that, release, you know what I mean? Because of that energy, all that energy that you could use for you to get the bag, or, you know what I'm saying? You could use that energy for some recreational use for your health, to creative ways, because that energy, when you release, it takes a lot of energy from your brain. It takes a lot of energy from your you know what I'm saying? It takes a lot of blood from your head and a lot of blood from your feet. It takes a lot of energy for that, when that release, you know what I'm saying? Just to get aroused or erected. You know what I'm saying? It's amount of blood that has to build up. You know what I'm saying? And once you get that release, it's amount of energy that you're letting out. You know what I'm saying? And that allows the demons to come in and just do all type of things. You know what I mean? Yeah, it feels real good to get that release. It when that hormones come in, it feels good. You know what I'm saying? But it's the things that you lose behind that feeling. And then you get caught up in situations that you don't offer a release. You know what I'm saying? Now you got this woman pregnant and stuff like that. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? This is not really a helper or a partner. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people get caught in trapped situations, and they find out that the women that it's toxic. Now they got to deal with the toxicity. They got to deal with child support. They got to deal with the woman playing these games and things like that, not wanting to really be a helper. You know what I mean? They want to be toxic. They want to be about drama. They always constantly want to come with drama and prevent you from seeing your child and all these type of things. You know what I'm saying? But dudes are blinded by that, from the physical attraction, from the breast and the buttocks, and from getting the nut. They are blinded by it, and they always fall into these traps and snares. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how society is. Some people get lucky. Some people get lucky or are blessed, if that's the term. Some people get blessed and they find the right woman, you know what I'm saying? Or eventually they find a childhood friend, or they find someone that is compatible with being a helper for them. You know what I'm saying? Physically, mentally, and spiritually. So then they evolve, they get out of that factor of just getting a nut, you know what I mean? Breast and buttocks. You know what I'm saying? It's a certain type of maturity that a lot of people have to go through. I had to go through that process of maturity because for a long time I've been immature when it came to breast and buttocks. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really want to maintain no kind of relationship, no type of way, and it was just like, just to get that release, or just to get to the breast and the buttocks. You know what I'm saying? It's like all means necessary. You'll do anything necessary. You'll say all the soothing words You know, you'll play your cards right. You'll be patient. You'll take your time. But once you get that nut, and you back to your senses, you like, dang, I put in all this work for this. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is. You know, and soon it's going to get to a point with Elon Musk and how these Chinese people, the Chinese is doing, and Japanese, they getting real tech savvy nowadays. You know what I mean? That Black Mirror stuff ain't gonna be just no conspiracy. It's gonna be reality. They already got police dogs. They already got sex robots. You know what I'm saying? So imagine when they build these, it's gonna be a real live AI takeover. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a real live AI takeover. Cause think about it, if people not really in it for a helper, you know what I'm saying, then they can get their lust out of these machines. All they gotta do is make these machines as realistic as possible. You know what I'm saying? That them robots gonna get sold out. You're gonna really start seeing the heart of man. You're gonna really start seeing the heart of the people. You know what I'm saying? Everything really just falls into a desire and temptation factor. It's not really about love. You know what I'm saying? Some people just deal with it because they want to keep a reputation, or they just deal with it because they don't want other people to have access to it. You know what I'm saying? Are they just, you know, they deal with it, you know what I'm saying, so they can always have something that they can get a release with. You know what I mean? Until they find something better. You know what I'm saying? And that rolls into the factor with women. You know, women really just want attention. You know, I've really noticed that. You know what I'm saying? Your hair can be messed up. Your hair could be just messed up. You can be looking rough. You know what I'm saying? Breath stinking. You know what I'm saying? All type of things going on. You know what I mean? That's supposed to, you know, turn a woman off. But because just for the simple fact that you're not giving them the proper attention, they'll be all in your face. You know what I'm saying? And as soon as you give them the attention, that's all they wanted. They got their rocks off, unless they are really attracted to you. You know what I'm saying? But some women, they'll play these games until they get that attention. They have to get the attention. You know what I'm saying? Women just operate, well, I ain't gonna say all women, but a lot of women operate off that. And that's what misleads a lot of dudes and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because the women programming is different from a dude's programming. A lot of the dudes, you know what I mean, they supposed to be focusing on the money, but a lot of dudes be programmed to try to get the woman. A lot of things that dudes do is just to get the woman. But, you know, a lot of people just like, hey, focus on getting the bag, and all that stuff will come. You know what I mean? Focus on God. But a lot of dudes' program is clouded with just trying to get the woman. The woman, her program is clouded with attention. She want attention. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes people can be misleading, you know what I mean? Does the woman really dig you, or she just want attention? You know what I'm saying? Because as soon as you give her that little bit of attention, boom, she's fulfilled. Now she's on to the next. You know what I'm saying? You just really have to see where people at mentally. You know what I mean? You really have to see where people at mentally. So that just comes with a maturity of yourself to not be wanting, you know, of course, the physical attraction and things like that and your imagination. But if you fall for that trap and snare of the nut, you'll forever be a slave of that nut, and it won't be a real relationship that you'll be able to maintain. You'll just be trying to keep up your ego and not really find that spiritual partner, not really find that helper that was intended for you. You know what I'm saying? So it takes patience, you know? And it's not always about getting a one-up on a person. Some people just get in a relationship because they want a one-up, like, look what I got, look who I got. And y'all ain't really compatible. So outside, y'all look like y'all just got it together. But on the inside, y'all arguing and stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's not about showing about, look what I got, or rubbing it in nobody's face. That's not what it's about. You know what I'm saying? It's about us moving on, us maturing, and you know what I'm saying? Just putting it out there that people can find a help. You know what I'm saying? It is possible. You know what I mean? It's possible. You know, I'm not just talking, just showing that it is possible, even for a person like me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thankful for it. And I know everybody else in the TI community, they can get it too, but it's just a mindset thing or what you doing it for. You know what I mean? Because there's women out there, they want to get a nut, they want to get a release too. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But they might not be compatible with being a helper. And once they get they self off, it's like the same thing too. They'll just, eventually find something better, or you know what I'm saying? So it's not gonna be long term. It's just, short term. You feel me? So if looking for love, you can't look for you shouldn't be looking for a nut. Unless, some things happen. You know what I'm saying? Some things happen, but you gotta pick. Which one do you want? Do you want to go the Ice Age squirrel route, or do you want to go the route of really seeing where the person's at? You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of energy vampires out here. You know what I'm saying? It's like the movie The Mommy. You seen the movie The Mommy when the people, the cowboys or whatnot, they went into the pyramids and stuff and took some of them organ jars that had Anubis and all them on it, and they said it was like a curse. And then when they did that spell and awoken the mommy and stuff, the mommy went to each one of them cowboys and took their flesh out of them. He made his mouth, he dropped his mouth and took the flesh out of him, and the flesh went on him. You know what I'm saying? That's like how these women are. These women just want your energy. They want your attention. And they want to sap all that energy out of you until you just drain in a skeleton. You just a drained skeleton. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful out here who you giving your energy to. You know what I'm saying? You got to mature to a level of, you know what I'm saying, holding it in, using that creative force to find that helper and find ways for you to get money and find ways for you to navigate. Because the truth of the matter is, you know what I'm saying, the nut has always been a trap for all mankind, no matter what color, what race, what background. It's always been a trap. So you gotta make a decision, you know what I'm saying, in this path, especially if you want to have an intimacy with God. God will open the door for you to have a real deal helper out here. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I gotta go. Peace.